All right, we're going to talk about melody and chord in this video. Melody is a succession of single notes. That's joy to the world. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. All right, that's a melody. It's a succession. You see how that's just single notes? It's just single notes. You know, when you hear someone singing, they're singing an individual, a person, one person. They're singing a melody. All right, they're singing a melody. All right. So melody is a succession of single notes. Melodies come out of different things. They can come out of your scale. You know, your major scale. Oftentimes, some melody notes come a little bit outside of the scale. We want to focus a little bit more on chords. Now, I say chord, it's not a chord like one plugs into a wall. For those of you who are like brand new, I've heard people who sing, they're really good singers, but they don't really know what a chord is. Two or more notes played at the same time. So if we did this could be technically a chord, right? If I'm on a guitar, that's double stops. They call that double stops on the guitar. It's two notes. A lot of power chords on the guitar are two notes. You can go over to my guitar as well here on Patreon, and you can see that. So chords are very important. Obviously, they form the foundation of your music. All right, so chords are two or more notes played at the same time. We want to focus on a certain type of chord right now called a triad. Tripod, 3 legs. Tricycle, 3 wheels, right? Triangle, 3 angles. Triad is 3 notes. 3 notes played at the same time is a triad. All right. Triad has 3 notes played in it, and that composes a chord of 3 notes, or a triad, right there. So we can pick any note, and we can make a chord off of that. We're going to get into chord construction in a little bit. But we can take any chord and we can, any note, and we can build a chord off of that note. We can get, you know, I'm just doing triads right now, by the way. So, you know, see that? See that? All those are triads right there. That's a triad. Right? That's a triad. That's a triad. That's a triad. All right, so triads are a chord of 3 notes. Now, we're gonna get into this whole idea of how to construct chords, and I'm gonna briefly touch on it in this video. And expand on it in the next video. I'm just going to stick with triads right now. In the next video, we'll get a little bit further and so on. Maybe the next one after that. All right. So here we go. Go back to your major scale. Remember our formula. All right. That was in the second video. Ho, ho, half, ho, 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 half. All right. So go back and review that if you need to. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take certain notes from that major scale, put them together, and make a chord. We're just going to build straight from the major scale. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take the first note of the major scale, the third note of the major scale, and the 5th note of the major scale, and play those at the same time. All right? We're going to take, I'm going to say it again. We're going to take a major scale. Right now we're in the key of C. We're going to play the first note of the major scale, the 3rd note of the major scale, and the 5th note of and the 5th note of the major scale. Okay, so when we play those 3 notes together, we're going to have a triad. All right, so let's get those notes. Here's the first note, And you can play your scale to get these notes. The first note is here. That's the first note you play. You start off of C. Then you go, that's your third note of the scale. You see that? So 1, 2, 3. That's your third note. So now, boom, you got your first note and your third note already. So now let's go up. Let's keep going in the major scale in the key of C, starting off of C. Aha, that's your fifth. Now, you should have been practicing the physical side of this. So your fingers shouldn't be going all crazy like, you know, like you up here and doing all that kind of stuff, or you playing with your thumbs or like that. None of that. So I want your hands open and, you know, accessible to yourself. So when we're going through here, right? So now let's go back. Here's the first, third, fifth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, we talked about the numbers and going up. This is going to get us moving into the number system. And a little bit down the line, we're going to be getting into the number system. All right. So right there. All right. So let's go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just stop it right there. We know we've got our notes. We wanted the first note, the third note, and the fifth note. So here we go. First note, third note, and fifth note. So now we play those at the same time. All right. I want you to look at my hand, right? This is what I want you to do. I want you to give your fingers numbers. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These things seem very simple, but we apply these simple ideas in the music realm. I want you to play this chord with your first, your third, and your fifth fingers. So I want you to play this chord with your first, third, and fifth. So C will be on this finger, E will be on this finger, and G will be played with this finger. These two fingers will be on standby. All right. You don't want your fingers jumping up in the sky and all this kind of stuff. You don't want your thumbs out. You don't want to be having your thumbs hanging off. You don't want to be playing like this, you know, like with 3 fingers and going through. None of that here. OK, so there you go right there. So if I want to do that, first, third, and fifth, right on C, E, and G. And there it is right there. All right. That's my C chord. And that you just played a C chord. Now, don't worry about the left hand. You know, we ain't even got to the left hand yet. That's coming up. I'm just doing it because I'm used to doing it. But if you can do it and if it's comfortable for you, do that. But put your priority to get this. This is the focus right now. This is the priority. So again, first, third, fifth, or C, E, and G, and you don't play it like this. And you don't play it like this. You're not doing this. That's really not what we're doing. That's kind of like a broken chord. Some people call it arpeggio. We're just playing a straight chord. 3 notes played simultaneously. There you go, right? Okay, so do that and do that all over your keyboard. Everywhere there's a C, play that. Play that C chord. And I'm going to tell you, it's called a C major chord. Major chord. All right. All right. There you go. C major chord. In the next video, we're going to get into the 4 types of chords. Okay. So there are 4 basic types of chords, and we're going to get into that. We just did the major chord right now. All right. So if you want to be bold enough, if you want to apply everything that we've talked about, you can actually make this major chord off of the first note of any key using the major scale. We're going to get more into that in the next one. I do want to keep these videos about 10 minutes or less, so they're very digestible. So, but just quickly, let's pick a random note. Let's pick A flat. We like A flat, right? So here's A flat. You remember your scale? Okay, there's your A flat. So now, here's your one. Here's your first note of A flat. Here's your second. Here's your third. Bing, 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 bing. Because we're using the first and the third and the fifth notes of this major scale. So here's your 1, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there you go. That's your 5 right there. So that's your 5, right? So you're all good. Now you got that. That's your A flat major chord. A flat major chord right here. So I'm playing, my thumb is on the first note of that major scale in the key of A flat. My third finger is on the third note, and my pinky is on the fifth note. All right, so there you go. That's it. Now I know we didn't really get into melody. I did want to. I mentioned melody to contrast that with chords. Our focus really is chords and is in chord construction at this time. These songs won't. I don't really teach a bunch of like solos, and I teach more songs. And songs are composed mostly of chords. You do have some bass runs, you do have some little riffs over here, but if you're carrying the song, you're carrying the chords in the song. And that's about it for this third video. And go through each one and see how well you can apply everything that we talked about so far. And actually, you do have all of the information to be able to play a major chord off of every single note on this keyboard. And that's going to be very helpful. So in between this video and the next video, I want you to do that. I want you to go back and review, make notes. If there anything that you have any questions or comments or whatever, please put those in the description box and check out the tiers again. There are different ways that we can interact with the tiers. All right. Thanks for coming. Later.